It's the weekend here on Splash Play. You know what that means? Another doubleheader in the world of drafters where it's full point PPR, 17 weeks of total points. So you don't have to deal with the pods. You don't have to deal with the pod luck. That's always a thing that makes you worry when you are on the other sites out there. So we're going to draft another team here. Of course, another two teams, in fact. Let's get it going. I'm already in a draft room here. Draft starting in 25 minutes. Or 25 seconds. God, 25 minutes. Could you imagine if I had to stall for that long? We did have a lot of preseason games yesterday, though. Not going to do the full news update, but I do want to go through Nathan Yonke's article here from PFF, the guy who does the best job taking snap counts and all that. A few things I thought stood out that I thought were interesting. So we're going to talk about those today, in addition to drafting in the 4-hole next to our guy, Ivan, who has the exact same avatar as me, in fact. So shout out to our guy, Ivan, one of the first Splash Play supporters out there. And he continues to support here with the avatar going here on Drafters. All right. Pick coming up in a little bit here. Let's go through the news items. So Atlanta not playing anybody who started. Thought it was important to note that Ray McLeod was not playing in that game, sitting with all the starters as Casey Washington did play. Would tell you that Ray McLeod for right now would be ahead. Of course, in that battle with Rondale Moore, that Rondale Moore threw in the white flag on. Let's make a pick here. We'll talk about the rest of the items I thought were important. Got Jamar Chase, Amon-Ra. We're going to go by the correct pronunciation. Jefferson, who I never have an issue with taking either. I feel like I've been taking more Chase than I would like to on drafters. This is going to be a spot where I do go, these two are tough. Jefferson falls enough. Let's get a share of Amon-Ra here. So we'll see what we get on the way back. Niners for week 17. Wouldn't mind it, but doesn't matter that much here on drafters, where, again, we don't have to worry about spiking quite as much in the home stretch of the playoffs. Baltimore yesterday. So this is one that I think we need to clarify one thing. So Baltimore didn't play starters. One thing people will point out is that Tez Walker wasn't in the game with the first team. Tez Walker was also banged up. He had a rib injury, and that's part of why he didn't get more run, according to the team. So I still think Tez Walker, a tough click in the 18th round, as we talked about. Some guys have fallen enough. Your Luke McCaffrey's, who's still in the mix relatively for wide receiver 4-ish for the Commanders. Maybe it could be more as the season goes on. Hopefully will be more. Troy Franklin, some other guys, Jalen Hyatt, who's in the mix with the first team pretty aggressively. Those are all guys to me that I think more appealing now as an 18th round pick. But you have a Houston bet. If you have Lamar correlation, you just don't have any other pass catchers to go with him. I think Tez Walker's still in play, but he does look pretty dead based on that game yesterday. I think he's not quite as dead when you have the color knowing about the rib injury. See, for the rest of these games, you're just going through here again. Go through Nathan Yonke's article. I'll actually link it in the chat. If you guys are not familiar with his work, he does a good job on Twitter. Does a good job here as well. Bummer, live did not start before you were in room. Yeah, that's not how I do things. But thank you for trying to ask for a different way of doing things. If you're a paying member here on the channel, I do ping the Discord. But otherwise, I don't know what to tell you. We got other games here. Next game on the board, we have the Bears. Bears played starters yesterday. Rome Odunze having the big play was really the one that you saw a lot on Twitter, I'm sure. Odunze looked fine. Keenan Allen, 1 target on 6 routes run. At least he got targeted. DJ Moore, also 1 target on 6 routes run with the first team. Odunze's bigger plays came when they took out the starters. So that's one thing to point out as well. Odunze, I think people read a lot into how he played yesterday with the 2 plays you see on social media. I still think Odunze's a good play, but he is functionally the wide receiver 3 in this offense. So it's one thing to keep in mind there, especially given the fact that he did not have the biggest success until we saw DJ Moore, Keenan Allen come off the field in a game 2 where, by the way, the Bears were not great to start either, going against the second team, I think, for the Bengals overall. Anything else to note in these snaps? Cole Kmet playing behind Gerald Everett, same thing. These guys basically dead even in routes run. So Cole Kmet, to me, functionally the same play, but less opportunity to be on the field. Never a good thing you want to see. Bengals snap counts this game. They didn't play starters. Jermaine Burton did start. Burton, again, being with this group, not a great thing for him overall if you are expecting him to have production early on. But at this point, you probably shouldn't expect Burton to have production early on. I thought it was worth noting as well, Burton played, but Yoshivas sat. Charlie Jones sat due to injury. So Trenton Irwin also sat. So I think it kind of tells you where Burton is in that pecking order. Firmly behind Yoshivas for right now. Firmly behind Trenton Irwin for right now. And obviously behind holdout Jamar Chase and T. Higgins at this time. Other news here, other games, just going game by game through the PFF article. So full credit to Nathan Yonke. I looked all the stuff already, but I'm just trying to use it as a reminder for myself what to talk about. Tank Dell was not in the mix a lot on 11 personnel, 12 personnel. He is a guy that I think has a little more concern to him than it might seem. We're on the clock here, though. We got Devontae, Saquon. Devontae at pick 21, and he's got a 17 ADP on drafters. Feels pretty good. We will go Devontae Adams here. But yeah, so for the Houston Texans side of the equation, look, I'm not going to bump Tank Dell down. I still think he's a very talented player. I do think it's worth pointing out that at this point, he did run behind Robert Woods and John Mechie in a couple sets where he could have theoretically played. It just feels like they're not putting Tank Dell outside very much. So I think that'd be a reason to knock him down. I don't think markets will knock him down, but if you were to really look at it closely, I think you could knock it down. We'll go. I'm going game by game here, so we'll get to that when we get to it. Giants here. Malik Neighbors, Wan'Dale Robinson, guys starting. Darius Slayton in the mix as well with Jalen Hyatt. Slayton and Hyatt, a pure split on the first team routes. As we talked about, Slayton gets more routes. It seems like Malik Neighbors is out, which is what happened in practice earlier in the week. But I think with Jalen Hyatt and Slayton, these guys are both viable plays. I would favor Hyatt a little bit more. Seemed like he had slightly more routes run in that game with the first team. But still, those guys functionally in the 18th round, I think they're both live. Now, Daniel Jones, part of it, people are going to freak out about. I thought he was actually not bad overall in the day. The 2 picks were certainly not good. First game back from a serious injury, though. Got to give the guy some grace. Also, forgot to open the beer, the ASMR that everybody craves here. Let's go full screen for this while we wait for my next pick. Oh, fuck. We got my next pick. Take my next pick, and then we'll open the beer and do ASMR. Chris Olave falling for no reason. I did some BBMs last night, and he was down a little bit. I don't get why. But Olave here, done. A little bit of a deal. Week 17, Devontae Adams, Chris Olave correlation. The Monroe St. Brown on top. I'm happy to have it. Now we can pop that top. Oh, yeah, we're popping tops. Here we go. All right. Here's the working men on a Sunday, which includes me, unfortunately. Technically, this is work. Cheers, guys. Do I think Dell overtakes Nico on 2 wide receiver sets? No. Nico was firmly ahead of both Dell and even Stephon Diggs on the 11 personnel, 12 personnel sets. So, and you're all good, D. Owens. I'm just going to get to it when I get to it. But yeah, I think for Dell, look, I think Dell is behind these guys. Nico got the big contract. That's functionally how I feel about it. It's how I felt about it as well. So to me, it's more cementing of the priors. Still think Tank Dell's great. Still think Dalton Schultz is great for the reasons we saw yesterday, where there's a lot of guys out there, and Schultz is getting 4 targets more than all of them just because everybody else is really good and getting covered. So for me, the bet's just on Houston in general. I have no issue making the bet on Houston in general. And Tank Dell, he should come down again. He should come down, I think, to like the 40s-ish. He should suffer the same way Christian Kirk has suffered for not being in key personnel groupings. He's not going to, though, would be my guess. Is it too late for coffee? For me, I don't drink coffee. For you, no. Follow your heart. I think people drink coffee all day long. You drink all the coffee you please, the league. Follow your heart. Giants, besides that, Devin Singletary, a lot of work, but Tyrone Tracy's still out. Nothing too crazy there. Cam Akers, by the way, I do think has outplayed Dameon Pierce in this preseason. Again, last year, I'm the one who did a Spags stacks on the Houston Texans, got shit on so bad for not taking Dameon Pierce. And I defended the logic for it pretty aggressively in the way that ended up being exactly right last year. I feel the same way about Dameon Pierce this year. At best, he's contingent value. And now with Akers looking okay, he might not even be the contingent value. So I really would be careful with Dameon Pierce. I know I've heard from you guys, seen some of your screenshots. A lot of you guys take Dameon Pierce late. Just be mindful of the exposure there is all I would say, even if you still think he's a good play. I don't. Chief snap counts. We had Rashee Rice, Justin Watson, and Xavier Worthy doing all the work. The Worthy highlights are going to be the ones you see, ignoring the fact that he fumbled and in that game. He also had, there's one other thing that could have gone wrong for him. It didn't. It was a more narrow game than it seemed when you're just following social media highlights. But for Worthy, though, I think him being in the mix, he's going to benefit from having Marquise Brown not out there. Justin Watson, not as big of a target earner. If you are dead in the water, need an 18th round chief, it does seem like Justin Watson would be the one to go to. We saw how that worked out last year, and that's without Hollywood Brown coming back likely week 1, week 2. You know, even if he hits the pup list week 5, don't think that's going to happen, but let's say worst case scenario. I still don't think Justin Watson's really a pick, but just something to point out with that. We got a slight fall on Jalen Hurts. Otherwise, we're just right at ADP for everything. We got Detroit, Vegas, New Orleans. Obviously, bring back's not the most important thing. Amari Cooper wouldn't feel bad here. I think Terry McLaurin could be coming up a little bit off his game, but as we talked about, the Commanders are pretty much price-proofed. I'm going TMC. Going Terry McLaurin here. I was encouraged by that game, even though we haven't gotten to it yet. There we go. Our guy Adam in with the AI quote of the day. There's no harm in repeating a good thing. That's true. We are repeating a good thing here. How did my ranking / strategy change for total points contest versus playoff pod style? More balanced teams overall generally, but it doesn't really change too much. You're not week 17 correlating. Obviously, that's the big part of it. But you still can do that on drafters. I think it is a little bit of an edge if you have guys that are just dead even in projection, but it's functionally not too different from how I approach things overall. Besides the fact you have more wide receiver bailouts because it's full point PPR on drafters. So Chiefs, nothing else besides that. Carson Steele, people are going to read a lot into that. He did come in ahead of Deneric Prince. I think Carson Steele to me is like the Kyle Juszczyk of this team. They're just trying to find some different ways to attack that with him. But that's basically how I would feel about him. We're back on the clock here. Josh Jacobs falling a little bit. Hero Jacobs wouldn't feel bad on drafters. We do have the bet on New Orleans and Vegas. Alvin Kamara at his higher ADP wouldn't feel bad on drafters. Who do I like more? Honestly, these guys are not dissimilar plays for me with Jacobs and Kamara. And another receiver wouldn't be a bad time either. But I am going to go Jacobs. Scooped a little bit of a discount on him. I'm low on Jacobs overall in my portfolio, even though I don't feel bad about him as a play. But I'm so heavy Marshawn Lloyd. And as I saw yesterday doing 3 BBMs at night off stream just because I was hanging out, didn't want to play an actual video game. I am still team Marshawn Lloyd. You get him in the 170s. I got him in the late 180s in one room. I'm still team Marshawn Lloyd, but I still should have some Josh Jacobs to kind of balance it out a little bit. Let's see. Lions snap count. So Lions were weird. Doris Fountain, it feels like, is now out of the wide receiver 3 competition. Caden Davis started for that team. I wouldn't draft any Lions wide receiver 3. If I were to draft one, Caden Davis had the best day. Isaiah Williams has more kick return utility. Those are the guys that might be in the mix. But the Doris Fountain thing, even though he started camp hot, as we talked about, he then got less hot. And that's what happens with players who are just kind of journeyman players. They'll have a good run. They'll then have a bad run that really undoes any of the good they had. So for Doris Fountain, if you were taking him a lot, I don't think I saw anybody who was. Probably don't take him a lot. 20th round on draft is still okay. But Caden Davis, I don't know. Caden Davis had a nice day, I think, looking at the box score. But that's neither here nor there, really. It's just an open competition, really, still. And as we talked about earlier, the Athletic thinks that the Lions wide receiver 3 is not yet on the roster. So that definitely could be the case as well. From this game, though, it does seem like if you're going to bump anybody up, Worthy would be the one, and Justin Watson would be the one besides that. But really don't think bump up Watson for real. Browns didn't play starters yesterday. Not a whole lot to read into this, though. Pierre Strong played ahead of Deontay Foreman, which I speculated earlier in camp when I talked about the rotations when Foreman first got hurt. Foreman, though, does seem to be relatively locked into the power back role, so something to keep an eye on there. But Strong played ahead of him. If I had to guess, Strong the direct backup for like the majority workload. Foreman in the mix as a guy who's just going to basically play, backup to the backup and take some power down rolls away, some goal line touches away. So to me, Foreman, I don't know, not really a play, but there's a faint chance that he is kind of that Jamal Williams-y back that we talk about a lot in the stream. Viking snap count. So starters didn't play here, but Jalen Nailor did play. He led all the receivers overall. Brandon Powell played primarily out of the slot. Nailor did not play as much slot. So I still think Brandon Powell has utility. If you're taking Nailor all the time, I'd be reluctant to do that. Nailor showed the deep ball upside a little bit in that game. Brandon Powell, more of a reliable kind of move the sticks target / check down target. I think they offer different things. So it wouldn't shock me to see these guys be closer to like a 50-50 split. But Powell did play behind Tristan Jackson technically. That's mostly because Powell plays out of the slot. So for the Vikings, I think you bump up Nailor a little bit, but not too much because Powell still is kind of lurking there. Everything else, nothing that exciting behind it. Kenny Ngogwu got all the, I never know how to say this guy's name. Ngogwu, that's it. He got most of the work for the first team at running back, but doesn't really matter. Jets, Panthers. So the Panthers, as we talked about, not playing their starters at all in camp or in preseason right now. Did play Terrace Marshall, did play Jonathan Mingo. Mingo seems like he's the one most ahead. As he talked about a few times on here, Terrace Marshall now the direct backup for Deontay Johnson. That's why he got that work. And we have Deontay Johnson on the board here. We also have David Montgomery, who I think makes more sense for this team, given our bet on Amon-Ra St. Brown. So we'll go David Montgomery here, and we'll hope we get a decent receiver on the way back, which we should, based on the situation on the board right now. Panthers, though, not much to read into. Jatavian Sanders, though, was working in a rotation at receiver. He really, with Tremble out, with Ian Thomas out, he kind of needs to earn more for himself. Thought he did well with the plays he had. I think he finished with like 2 for 20, but he's not going to get like full-time work. So Jatavian Sanders in play for your 18th to 20th round, but just not a guy I feel like you can really rely on. Jets didn't play starters once again, so you're not going to see Jets starters, I think, in this entire preseason. You got Brownlee leading the way, McCutcheon. It's really nobody's here. Corley not leading the way, though. I'd say not a great sign. I think they pulled him a little bit earlier than other guys, but he wasn't really like, the starter who's playing with the second team. Like some other guys came off. He just kind of came off like part of the second team. That's really all the note in that game. Colts game, starters pulled again. Jelani Woods basically dead. He was the third tight end playing in this game when they also rested two. So you're taking Jelani Woods, as I've talked about. That was always a risky play. It's a play I didn't take much of this year. Honestly, stopped taking it basically last June or July of last year. Jelani Woods, it feels like might be a cut candidate, which were the latest things that I saw on social media from the beat people. Besides that, Anthony Gould didn't look great. He's the guy that's basically the direct backup for Josh Downs, but we've seen A.D. Mitchell take some work away as well. But Gould, it seems like not acquitting himself too well necessarily. RB falls again, but once again, we can make another little correlated bet and add Christian Watson on. So we got all of our RB plays stacked up with a receiver. We've got a Week 17 correlation for Vegas and New Orleans, and we have Terry McLaurin setting up potentially Jaden Daniels later on. So happy with how this is looking. We'll see what we get on the way back. Cardinals snaps, nothing too interesting to note here, I thought. Trey Benson didn't play third down snaps, which is part of how I think he can get there over the year. I guess he could still ice Amari DiMercato at some point on third downs, but it feels like right now Benson is the third down back. And if he's just contingent value, he had one of the better runs today. Like people, I know some of you guys are out there who are these people, Kamani Vidal bag holders, defenders. The one play Kamani Vidal had was so fucking mid. And like you had a good play from Benson. You had good plays from Ray Davis. You had good plays from Bucky Irving that looked roughly better than, I mean, honestly, the Benson had his run. That was the best run of the day. Had like a 20-yarder. His run was infinitely better than Vidal. But people like Vidal fumbling, like falling for 12 yards and a pile of people was enough to get the juice going. Still, though, Trey Benson probably should be down a little bit. He's in the 130s now in most rooms. Should, I think, be going more like 140s, 150s, because he's really not guaranteed work at all. He had literally one nice run. He had one nice run. he had quite literally one nice 12-yard run. I watched all the plays. He had one nice 12-yard run. He's okay. You want to keep defending Kamani Vidal, you can, but like the bending over backwards, the social media community at large does for some players, while not doing the same for others who they didn't have earlier priors on, remains one of the themes, I think, of 2024 that can misdirect a lot of people. I'm sure you did, Eric. How much Vidal do you have? How much exposure? Dolphins snap counts here. So the Dolphins game was like, again, mostly a not game. Johnny Smith, though, sharing time evenly with Durham Smythe. I thought was interesting to see there. Malik Washington led the way without the starters. We kind of know at this point, with Odell missing a lot of camp, they basically, just not a player that I think you need to trust. But I would say Malik Washington with Odell not in camp for the most part. I think Malik Washington can win that wide receiver 3 job, if not immediately over the course of time. So Malik Washington running, getting the most routes of the first team is good. Tua played, Mostert played. People are going to freak out about the Achane stuff. So the good thing with Achane was that he did get a go route in that game. The bad thing it was 9 snaps to 2 favoring Mostert with the first team. So I kind of think Achane should pay an ADP dip a little bit here. That's not even 50-50 split with the first team. That's not 60-40. We're talking like 90-10, which I don't think is going to hold. Could be them trying to save Achane, but if you're trying to save Achane, you should also try to save your older RB and Mostert. So it kind of doesn't make sense. Jalen Wright was also out for the game. Didn't hear about him being hurt, but presumably he was held out because of injury, because all the the running back starters went. So a little bit of a weird one. I still think I have no issue with Achane, but he should pay a little bit of a price tag dip. We're on the clock here. Obviously, could go Jordan Love. We have outs if we wanted to take another receiver. We could build out Green Bay more and try to take Jordan Love. I am lower on Jaden Daniels than I would like to be on drafters, though. And, I mean, we'll talk about him in a moment here. But really think for Jaden Daniels, I think he should be the buy of all buys, as he should have been from day one. But now he really should be the buy of all buys. Starters for the Commanders. So people worried about Jahan Dotson with some of the quotes about looking for wide receiver 2. Dotson basically played all the slot routes yesterday. Also played outside first over Olamide Zaccheaus and Diami Brown in 11 personnel sets, a 12 personnel set. So I think that Dotson is still safe, even though he had another dog shit game. I think had 1 catch for 3 yards, if I'm remembering correctly. McLaurin, though, had a couple big plays. I think showed what I'm expecting out of him. Yards after catch with McLaurin as well. People are also going to freak out about Jaden's ADOT. If you missed the part where Dan Quinn yelled at Jaden to slide on the sidelines, he's releasing the ball quickly because they're trying to keep him safe and get him through the preseason while still showing something. Even the play last week where he had the 40-yard bomb, that was a check out of a screen. So, they're just trying to keep Jaden clean right now. So don't read into the ADOT too much. There's a lot of, I'll tell you, people who I think are smart on social media who don't grasp how football works sometimes and how coaches call things. Jaden's ADOT was low because he was getting the ball out fast, so he wasn't facing pressure at all. So For Jaden, he showed me everything I needed to see. I think that's probably it for him in the preseason, if I had to guess. Other things to note here, Ben Sinnott playing behind John Bates. John Bates is a nobody, but he is behind Bates and Zach Ertz for right now. So Sinnott, no big play here. You get the deal and how that works. We got Washington. We got 5 receivers. We got an RB. I think Jordan Love looks pretty good here for a season-long kind of play. Dobbs would also be okay, but we've got a Green Bay double already. Jordan Love's the pick for me. Diami Brown looks dynamic out there, or Diamic out there. He does look okay. I mean, look, Dotson hasn't done anything, but Diami, I don't get the sense they love him or anything in any real way. But his routes look pretty good. Like from what he ran in that game, only ran 7 routes with the first team. But I thought what I saw from Diami Brown. Hard to take him. Maybe on drafters here in the 18th round, we take him over the Luke McCaffreys over those guys. Anything else here? Pretty close to even split with Brian Robinson and Austin Eckler, though Robinson 10-8. So you favor Robinson. It's kind of what I think it's going to be. As I've talked about, Washington to me is not dissimilar from your Tennessee, from your Cincinnati, from your Dallas, and that both backs can hit. They both are probably going to get decent work, but you can favor one a little bit more. I would still favor Brian Robinson. Anything else here? Johnny Smith, I think it was in the PFF thing. They highlighted it, but Smith got good usage overall. I don't know. I think Smith's an interesting player. I've continued to think that, but he is basically in a timeshare with Durham Smythe, so just something to keep in mind there. Smythe could be a much better blocker, much better, not catching passes guy is Durham Smythe, and that's all he does. It's what he does well, is not catching passes at Durham Smythe. So the Bills played starters, but sat Curtis Samuel. They were speculating the Bills beats that Curtis Samuel might be hurt, but I didn't see confirmation of that. If he's hurt, it's probably nothing serious because we haven't heard anything about it. Dalton Kincaid played 2 snaps of the game and got pulled. Basically thought he was going to continue playing. They saw enough from him after 2 snaps and pulled him. But besides that, Keon Coleman led the way with 15 snaps. Mac Hollins basically took over the Curtis Samuel role, took 13 snaps, moving all over. MVS got hurt, I think, also played 2 snaps, but it was mostly Keon Coleman, Shakir there. And if we're assuming Mac Hollins was a proxy for Curtis Samuel, that's your top 3 that we expect anyway. Dawson Knox, Dalton Kincaid, those guys kind of in the same situation. And James Cook led the way with 15 first-team touches. Ray Davis didn't see any. So Ray Davis clearly with the second team, but Ray Davis, I think, had the best running back plays in that game. And again, some of the best on the weekend. Pittsburgh on their side, Van Jefferson ran more routes. I guess ran the same amount of routes, played more snaps than George Pickens. Doesn't matter that much, though. Pickens, the one missed one-hander play that he wasn't in bounds on. He did George Pickens things, but still, it's really low volume. 2 targets on 13 routes is not really where you want to see George Pickens be, especially when Van Jefferson is getting 4 targets on 13 routes. But Pickens, I think the same concerns for me have been there, but he is fine. Van Jefferson, though, Calvin Austin, those guys running meaningful routes to the first team. Does seem like it'll be a little bit hard for Roman Wilson to dig out, as Nathan Yonke speculates in that PFF article that I linked up top in the chat. But overall, it's Pittsburgh. Jalen Warren hurt his hamstring, by the way. I personally wouldn't sweat it too much. It sucks to see. He is a guy that his movement, his lateral movement, his speed is a big part of his game. So having that hamstring maybe might make it slightly more likely to reoccur. But I wouldn't sweat it. If you get a discount on him, I would take it. We're on the clock here again. We got our 2 QBs, 2 RBs, 5 receivers. We're feeling pretty decently balanced besides at tight end. And I think Jerome Ford continues to make this balanced. Jerome Ford sitting in that Cleveland game, I thought was a pretty big cosign for him. As we talked about, he's the first team RB until Nick Chubb can be ready to go. And he's probably the 1B/number 2 to Nick Chubb. For Ford, though, 117, 10-pick discount on where he's normally going on drafters. I think we'll be happy to take that. Let's see what else. Pittsburgh. Russell Wilson also looked like shit, but Justin Fields didn't look any better. Almost turned the ball over twice in one play. I really feel like the Pittsburgh job, kind of like the Vegas one, is one where nothing is that exciting, really. Tennessee yesterday. Tennessee didn't play starters, but did play guys like Nick Westbrook-Akine. I think not a lot to read in here. Battle for RB3 for the Titans is still alive. Julius Chestnut seeing some work to Jabari Small. Hassan Haskins playing with the second team. Whatever. Seahawks snap counts. Nothing to note here. It was all not starters. Howell looked a little bit better than he has. Kenny McIntosh, clearly the RB3. That's basically the stuff to take away from that one. Rams, Jordan Whittington did not get sat. So anybody who's playing the Jordan Whittington as Puka Nacua game, last year Puka Nacua sat from game 2 on, I believe. Jordan Whittington played game 2. If Whittington sits game 3, probably a decent cosign for his usage in the year. If he plays game 3, you might want to view him as a little bit of a lower play than he's been going recently, where we've seen him go in the 16th round. People are really getting comfortable taking him. But Whittington playing yesterday was maybe not the greatest cosign because they were thinking about holding him out. We got a lot of RBs on the board here and would have no issue taking any of them. Gus, Want to get more Rico? I think Gus is the safer play. Probably more upside for Rico Dowdle. I think we've got safe plays with Jacobs and Montgomery. So I'm going to go Rico Dowdle here. Eckler would have been a fine pick as well. I think at this point, I want to make sure to prioritize Dowdle, and I'll get Eckler where I get him. But Eckler would have made sense of the Washington build. Otherwise for the Rams, Zach Evans got work. So all the Zach Evans bag holders from last week could feel good about that. Chargers did a weird thing yesterday. So they played starters, but they played Brendan Rice starting outside, and he ended up playing more snaps than Josh Palmer, Ladd McConkey. Josh Palmer was the first one out in the game, so theoretically he's the wide receiver one there. But Brendan Rice is in the mix more than I would have thought. I haven't taken him since the big board, really, besides maybe once or twice in a Charger stack. I believe in his talent a lot, but he feels like he felt buried on the depth chart. But Chark getting one snap, he is a vet. That's probably the logic if I had to guess. But people, if you read and adjust the preseason parts of it, people would assume Brendan Rice might now be ahead of DJ Chark. I don't think that's the case. I think they were just saving him, but it confuses me, and it confuses me more so because I really do believe in Brendan Rice's talent. But that's basically where we are right now with the with the Chargers. Not one I think I'd be too excited for to go loading up on Brendan Rice because it is still a Chargers offense. But his guy not getting drafted, he's pretty good. And Quentin Johnson didn't play at all with the first team, played with the second team, but did look better overall. Kamani Vidal with the RBs got first team work was a dead even split. 4 snaps for Patterson, 4 snaps for Vidal, 2 snaps for Elijah Dotson. Spiller was in this game, right? Yeah, Spiller got time in the second team, so Spiller might be down now. Patterson, if I had to guess, still ahead of Vidal. Vidal, I think, got the work because I just wanted to see if he's a guy worth keeping. If I had to guess, I think the Chargers keep Dobbins, Edwards, Patterson, Vidal. I think now Spiller's on the bubble and be the one that gets cut or practice squatted. But for a while, it's looked like Spiller was ahead. It also could still be that Spiller's ahead. But I think if he were ahead, they would have just not played him and just seen more from Vidal. But Vidal looked okay enough. I don't think he's like a good draft pick. I think he's an 18th round pick. I think he's still got a pathway to have to he's got to work to get atop that depth chart. And I don't know that he ever will, but I think he's draftable again. So I guess I would say that. I gave him a death sentence bump down in ADPs, which I think was the right thing to do for this past week with the bad signal there. But now I would say he's draftable. I still wouldn't take him in the 170s, 180s. I think that's been incorrect the entire time. Bucks game yesterday, we did see Jalen McMillan start, even though the starters were not going. He played the most snaps. Trey Palmer was dead even with him as well. Bucky Irving thought acquitted himself well, picks up the dirty yards, which is what you want to see from a little guy. Pass protection good. All the first team work for Bucky Irving. So functionally, Bucky Irving is your RB2, and the hope is he's going to be more of a 1B to Rachaad White. We'll see how that goes, but I think he's quietly had one of the best preseasons of any rookie RB. People will get more excited for their bags. Mine is Bucky, and I think he's the better player. We got Dotson here as a 16-pick fall. He would make sense for this team, and we're not going to overthink it. John Dotson, come on down. PFF, for what it's worth, Nathan Yankee says it would be a good time to buy the dip on Jahan Dotson based upon his route participation. I have a little bit of concerns about Dotson. I think it's going to be a little more rotation-y for what that wide receiver 2 upside is, but I will still take Dotson. I'm going to do it here. Bowers, let's get through this stuff. Bowers is fine. We got Jaguars here. Brian Thomas played the most snaps overall, so still giving the young guys work, even though the starters didn't play in this game. Tank Bigsby got all the first team work as well. So Brian Thomas, we know what he's been doing. Good drumbeat for him. Feels good. Wouldn't read into him playing this game. Just getting the young guys some work. And Tank Bigsby, I think the box score ended up being not fantastic visually. I thought he looked better than he did last year. So Tank, for me, still a player to take a lot. And he's honestly my highest exposed player, I think, on drafters right now because you have a 20-round draft and a guy who's, to me, got a real role. That's how I'm viewing, for the most part, Tank Bigsby. Cowboys, I think this is the last game here from yesterday. So Cowboys, Jalen Tolbert played, which Nathan Yankee said. Again, PFS, Nathan Yankee, full credit to him. I'll link the article one more time because he does a good work compiling the stuff, and I'm basically just giving my takes based upon the charting he did. Jalen Tolbert playing this game, he feels like is not a good thing for Tolbert, given the fact that Tolbert didn't play with the starters the first time. This time he did play. The issue is that Kevontae Turpin might be hurt, and that could be why Tolbert played. Tolbert didn't do a whole lot in the game of note, so watch out for Jalen Tolbert. I still think he is locked into wide receiver 3 once CeeDee Lamb gets back in, but him playing here is maybe not a great sign because he's basically leveled back out. Coincidentally, with 2 other Jalens, Jalen Tolbert, Jalen Brooks, and Jalen Moreno-Cropper all had meaningful routes with that first team yesterday. We have 4 RBs now. Tight end is here. We do need to address tight end, and we're going to address tight end here. Feel okay about my top 4 at RB. Charbonnet, a decent enough discount to consider taking. So's Chubb, honestly. But we'll go Musgrave here. So teams so far, let's give this a read, and we'll wrap up the news items. We got Jaden Daniels, Jordan Love here as our QB plays. We have Josh Jacobs, David Montgomery, Jerome Ford, Rico Dowdle as the RBs. Wide receiver, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Devontae Adams, Chris Olave, Terry McLaurin, Christian Watson, and Jahan Dotson. And then Luke Musgrave is our first tight end. So we're going to need to add some volume at tight end. Otherwise, feeling okay about the team. Just got to make sure to stick the landing at RB. So the Raiders side of the equation, actually, no, Cowboys to wrap it up. Malik Davis, 5 snaps of the first team. Royce Freeman, 4. Deuce Vaughn made a couple plays against the second team. I still am not a Deuce Vaughn guy, but he did break 1 tackle. He did have 1 juke move that broke a tackle. So full credit to Deuce Vaughn doing 1 thing. But overall, Malik Davis seems like he would be tied for Royce Freeman for RB3. Neither really should be guys you would take. But as I've mentioned, I would favor Malik Davis if you are just trying to take a Cowboy for free at RB. And you probably shouldn't. Raiders, Trey Tucker had the good game, but he basically was even on snaps and routes with DJ Turner, Jacoby Myers, and Trey Tucker. Brock Bowers and Devontae Adams sat this game. Bowers might have been because he was banged up. Adams likely because he's a vet and also is coming back from being out of camp with the birth of his son. So those are the reasons there. People worried about Zamir White playing into the third quarter. I wouldn't worry that much about it, but you can. Wabe got work earlier this week than he did last week. Madison was still the one getting first team work. 7 snaps to 3 snaps for Zamir White versus Alexander Madison with the first team. I don't know what to read into this one besides the fact that I think maybe O'Connell won the job yesterday. Supposedly the Raiders will announce their starter within the next few days. I still probably wouldn't draft that starter, I guess. Maybe a little bit if you have like Adams and Bowers. But the Raiders situation just seems like a bad one. The QB play is like legit really bad. If I had to go one right now, I think AOC maybe won the job yesterday. Minshew did not play well enough in the first team, but neither looks good. Neither's a good pick right now. I think Pierce is going to go with AOC, but just a hunch. That's how I feel about it too. All right, let's see. What else do we have? Nothing else interesting here. So there we go. It's all the news and notes from all those games. Hope that helps here. If you got value out of that, basically just read you a PFF article, gave my spin on it. But please subscribe down below. Hit the like button if I added value to your day with that. Hopefully saved you some time. And of course, some more games coming up today. I'll talk about tomorrow's update here that I do in the beginning of the show. That was about 30 minutes. So there was a lot of fucking games yesterday to dig into. Antonio Gibson here. I would still definitely take him over Kamani Vidal. Vidal falling in this room. Gibson is RB5 on full point PPR. I feel okay about, and we're going to do that here. Gibson, RB5. Yeehaw. Buying into the Patriots offense. What fun. Oh, man. It's a lot of football here. A lot. Preseason, though, I got to tell you, it's hard to have like some games where it's like, this game is really meaningful and the starters are doing stuff. And like Patrick Mahomes is out here throwing backwards passes and whoa, Xavier Worthy. And it's like that Detroit KC game was like a real game, even though, the Lions starters weren't really involved quite as much. Felt like a real game. And then you go to other games and it's like, here's the third team versus the fourth team by the time like the first drive ends. Preseason, that's like, I think the worst part of preseason is that there's just there's no common ground in a preseason. It's like every team's going to do it differently. Some teams will give superstar players minutes and time. Other teams like Carolina's not going to play anybody who's a star in their offense. Neither is Seattle in this entire preseason. It's insane. There we go. Very helpful, Spags. Thank you, Adam. I appreciate it. I try my best. 33 minutes of news squirt. Great job. Well, it filled about a quarter of the stream, right? We got it going. You think a healthy Trey Tucker is going to open up a lot for them? Short and intermediate. Why short and intermediate? He's not a short and intermediate guy. Trey Tucker is just a deep ball guy. If he's going to open up anything, it's stuff downfield, which makes more sense for his usage, given that he's got Adams and Mayer there and Myers and Bowers. Those are all like low rate out guys. Got to know your guy, like what your guys bringing to the table. Trey Tucker is just air yards, hopefully. Got 3 receivers, 5 RBs. Huge discount on Vidal. A little bit of a tier break coming up at RBs. You can see in ADPs. I think we just scooped the Vidal discount. Week 17 correlation for Gibson and Vidal. The worst week 17 correlation. Oh, stay with you. Sorry, Mr. Hopinski. I didn't pick up your poorly worded chat, but fair enough. Fair enough. But that is something that happens a lot. So I have to be the one that corrects people sometimes. People sometimes have players like completely different like versions of what they are, like which has happened enough times, and that's something for me as a data enthusiast. Let's say I would say a data snob. Like knowing player profiles is the most important thing you do in fantasy. So Trey Tucker, maybe people don't know. But Trey Tucker, good game. He looked good. He's had a lot of good camera reports, too, about him looking better this year. It's just he's a little bit buried. He kind of needs Adams to get traded to have real upside. But even then, he's not going to be like a big target earner, so he can have his upside anyway. Got some shares of Jelani Woods. Fell for the preseason hype, sadly. It's going to happen. Look, we're all going to take guys and feel like there's upside for them. Like ultimately, you're going to hope you get half of them right and get them really right. But I wouldn't feel bad about it. But obviously, I try to vocalize the ones that I have concerns for. Doesn't always work out. The Vidal thing for me has been like, fucking head spinning, but I still fundamentally believe, a guy who played at a low pedigree college, it didn't show out that much there. I find it hard to believe that guy makes the big leap, but that's me. Real fast, I want to give a shout out. We did have a good amount of depositors yesterday on Drafters. And of course, I'm drafting on Drafters here. And you're getting that news update from me, the breakdown of all the shit that happened Saturday. You wouldn't be getting it without Drafters. So show Drafters some love here. And shout out to all the fine folks who deposited within the last day. I think we got 3 or 4. We got Mike's homies or homies. I'm not sure which. Spelled like homies. Shout out Mike's homies. Stolat, a play on words. These guys all deposited yesterday. I appreciate them for it. And of course, your deposits support you here playing on Drafters because number one, you're playing on a site where there's a really good shot of overlay in their biggest tournament with $500,000 of first place. I talked about it yesterday. If the Drafters million is 75% filled, Drafters is going to have to put in basically $400K of their own money to make this tournament work and hit the guaranteed prize pool. So it is a really fucking big deal right now to draft on Drafters. I can't this is an ad, but really this is an ad for you where you really need to go draft on Drafters because of the fact that overlay's got a very live shot. As I talked about last year where there wasn't nearly as much overlay. I don't think there was any overlay. Last year I finished top 110 with just 9 entries. And that's what you could do on Drafters with just how not sharp it is. And frankly, again, the bailouts you get with full point PPR. It's a lot easier to build a full point PPR team than it is a half point PPR team. I will say that. So check it out, drafters.com, promo code SPLASH, get a $100 deposit match or up to a $100 deposit match. And I would recommend doing the full match there. Get 10 entries in if you can. Do $150, get 10 entries in. Then you get a free entry on that. I'm about to get my second free entry here on 25. There's a lot of good deals going on in Drafters. So there's your whoring. Go support them. And I should do this. I enjoyed doing this yesterday. Let's see. Can I touch the Drafters logo? Boop. Boop. Is that going to make you sign up for Drafters? I'd like to believe so. If I touch it like ET. Lots of free tickets. That's true. All right. I should have pulled up the chat while I said it. Lots of free tickets. That's true. We're on the clock here. Following Ricky Pearsall doesn't do a lot for us. Tight end has gotten away from us here. Honestly, at this point, I should fucking take some Zach Ertz more than Pearsall or more than Sennett. Pearsall's pretty tempting as wide receiver 7. I don't like him. I think he's got limited upside, but him at 190, he is so fucking mispriced. Pearsall is another guy too, where I've talked about him being mispriced for a while. He continues to be, but now he's appropriately priced, to be honest. But he is really, brutal. All right, let's see. Really think over time with the NIL and the portal, we should question their skill level and why they aren't playing for more elite programs. That's a good point. A little more metagame about college football. I've talked about it before where, not like last year was the best case where guys who play in big colleges going to do well. But for the most part, there were still underlying metrics that'll show you a guy's potential if the opportunity is there for him. Rasheed Rice at SMU. SMU is not like a big dog school. Rasheed Rice had 35% target per run at SMU. You think it's an opportunity in a dead KC wide receiver room. He bubbles upwards. So you still can beat out, poor college pedigree, but you have to be good. You have to be a good player. And usually you have to be efficient with that. You have to, earn targets at a high level. And, guys like Kamani Vidal, even my boy Luke McCaffrey was better than Vidal analytically, but Vidal wasn't avoided tackle rate, especially that one. If you can't avoid tackles at Troy, I don't know how you avoid him as a pro. But I've vocalized my Vidal concerns enough, and I took him here. So clearly they're not that strong. Other picks, I think we just need to make it up overall at tight end. I'm gonna go Ertz over Sinnott. Still like Sinnott, but I think getting myself to some amount of free Zach Ertz at this point, I just don't want to lose the Jaden bet when getting the Jaden bet right is basically where my brain has gone across my entire portfolio. Because like I'm so deep on Jaden. I was thinking about it yesterday. I get to 40% Jaden, and I really wouldn't feel bad about it. I think he's just the nuts play that, for whatever reason, the public can't get to. He fucking went 10 for 12 yesterday, was incredibly efficient. And they're going, he didn't throw deep enough. Like, Caleb Williams played like shit. Like, played like shit against the second team defense of the Bengals yesterday. And like, people are like, man, he should move up. He should be in the 80s. Like, what is going on here? If Jaden Daniels hits like I think he's going to hit, it's going to be one of those things where I would really encourage you guys to look back at everyone you followed this year who was not on the Jaden Daniels train and go like, why? Like, why are you like, are you somebody I want to follow moving forward? Truly believe that. Thanks for putting all the work for us. Spags winning big this year. I hope so, Sonny, but I appreciate that. Definitely touched the D's clitoris. Thank you. Thank you. That's going back to me touching the Drafters logo, to be clear, but I missed that chat and it was a funny chat. The more sites that are in the best ball world, the better for us, the players. That's true of everything. Wrestling fans could tell you when there was just WWE out there, fucking products sucked really bad. Then you add in competition. It helps. Even though I love Underdog, they need feet to the fire to keep themselves doing the right thing. And it's not going to come from DraftKings, would be my guess, unless they hire somebody like they do the same thing Underdog did. Hire a hope, hire a newbie, hire people who are in the space who know it really well. I'm available for DraftKings, but like hire somebody who knows best ball and make them your best balls are and make it really good. Maybe that would give DraftKings a shot, but they'd rather just probably take more vig from you, raise the price tags again. Got Mr. Hoopy buttholes in a redraft pickle. My best ball brain got the better of me. It went hard 0 RB, Puka, Harrison, Ayuk, Laporta, Cooper, Worthy, and Odunze. All before RB at least got Jaden Daniels. You can't do that in redraft. I've said it a million times over here. Hero RB in your home leagues if you're doing that. Maybe even by modal, but definitely hero. Very tempting to build the super team based on best ball, but you still want to probably have hero. And if not, I think you can still survive with 0 RB in a redraft, but you better be really aggressive on the waivers for sure. Think Daniels and Murray will be the QB league winners this year? I certainly hope so. I actually have to tell you guys, and this is a drafter stream. I drafted a really fucking sick underdog team last night. Did get Puka at MHJ off stream, and then I was like, fuck it, I'm going for the gusto here. I did add on Jaden, added on a lot of shit that I like here. I'll show you guys real fast before my pick comes up. Why not? Oh shit, not stop sharing. Share other tab. Here we go. Team I drafted last night, again, around 11 p.m. If you're going to find me in a hidden room, it's going to be when you're going to find me. Kyler Murray, Jaden Daniels, Joe Mixon, Brian Robinson Jr., Devin Singletary, Ray Davis, Marshawn Lloyd at 180, Tank Bigsby stealing him there. We're back on the clock and drafters. We'll go back to this because it is worth talking about. McCaffrey still hanging around. Would be extra correlation. Need the third tight end. Tight end getting a little bit thin. Got to bet on Vegas. We lost Juwan Johnson along the way, unfortunately. I could go Michael Mayer here. Though Gesicki sat with the starters, that might matter. Let's go Gesicki. Change it up a little bit for me here. We didn't take Chase early on. We'll take Mike Gesicki instead. The rest of this team, though, I got to show you guys this team. It's like legit. This is a crazy fucking team. So got so much value overall there. Started reaching for guys, though. Puka Nacua, Harrison, Tank Dell, Curtis Samuel, Darnell Mooney, Jahan Dotson got him ahead of ADP, which is not the smartest. Michael Wilson, and Trey McBride, Noah Fant, Colby Parkinson. This one, though, is a real crazy one where I got value on every pick. So, again, if you're going to listen to me here about drafting at 10 p.m., 11 p.m., we got value on Connor. Huge value on Jalen Warren. Hamstring injury, you get that. Huge value on Brian Robinson. Huge value on Ezekiel Elliott. Huge value on Ty Chandler. Took Bucky ahead of ADP just to get ahead of that. Big value on Marshawn Lloyd. A.J. Brown. No value on Olave. Pretty big value on Ayuk. Decent value on McLaurin. Decent value on Godwin. Pretty big value on Brandon Cooks. Good value on Laporta. Like, this is just what you can get if you draft at night. Like, I really do strongly believe that. So, I know the data from Mike Leone says 1 p.m. is the best time. I find that incredibly hard to believe. Really find that to be one of the biggest fallacies of the world, especially on weekends. But Leone's a sharp guy, so I defer to that. My personal experience, though, would say I've been building fucking God teams off stream at like 10 p.m., 11 p.m. We got a lot of RBs here. We got 6 RBs. We got 7 receivers, 2 tight ends. Luke McCaffrey went. I think today is the day. We get a share of Diami Brown. Tyler Boyd, fine. DJ Chark, fine. I don't think we need a median projection guy at this point, even though those guys are pretty good values. We are going to go the way of Diami Brown here. So the team so far is a 2-6-8-2 or a 2-6-8-3. We have Jaden Daniels, Jordan Love, Josh Jacobs, David Montgomery, Jerome Ford, Rico Dowdle, Antonio Gibson, Kamani Vidal. Could justify a 7th RB looking at that room a little bit more. But we do have a hero technically and Montgomery too. Like the top 2 should carry us through most of the year. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Devontae Adams, Chris Olave, Terry McLaurin, Christian Watson. So our 5 guys early at receiver, we hit that. Then got Dotson. Pearsall is a huge discount. Diami Brown, just for the low-ownedness, I guess. Luke Musgrave, Zach Ertz, Mike Gesicki. So got Washington stacked up pretty heavily, which I do think plays better on drafters and underdog. And DraftKings for that matter. But the 20 rounds combined with the fact that it's total points, I think a team size bet makes a little bit more sense here. Built really good teams around 530 to 6. You get a fair amount of casual drafting pass work. Oh, interesting. That's never a time I've drafted. It's because that's usually when I'm on kid duty. So makes sense. I also forgot to update here. I've not updated this banner to say new draft videos every day is what it should be. New draft videos every day. There we go. Been doing the double headers now in the weekend drafts for multiple weeks, but we are doing drafts here every day at 11 a.m. So if you enjoy the content here, please subscribe down below, hit the like button. We're on that slow march to 4K subs, but your support goes a long way here, of course, because I just do my work here. I'm just trying to gamble, get it in good for best ball in the year. But part of the way I do that is by doing content every day from January on, and that's what I've been doing. So we're currently, this is stream draft number 177 for me on the year. I've put all my work here on stream, and that is what I try to do. So we can look back and we can go, wow, remember how right Spags was about everything? Remember when he won $1.5 million and posted the entire year how right he was? How great that'll be. That's the dream. That's the dream. Okay, Michael Thomas here. Appreciate that. Monday to Sunday. Doesn't matter what day I'm riding with Spags to the championship. Kendrick, my man. Appreciate Kendrick here. Team Kendrick and everything we do. Let's see what we got with this next pick and another draft coming up here. So guys, stay tuned. And of course, a giveaway, the 2 Drafters Million tickets coming up at the end of the video. So hang on tight. 7th RB here. Could go with the handcuff for Josh. This is an awful spot for RB. All right, 7th RB might not be the move. Get a Bo Melton share. Final team here that we're doing another draft. We got Jaden Daniels, Jordan Love at QB, Josh Jacobs, David Montgomery, Jerome Ford, Rico Dowdle, Antonio Gibson, and Kamani Vidal. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Devontae Adams, Chris Olave, Terry McLaurin, Christian Watson, Jahan Dotson, Ricky Pearsall, Diami Brown, and Bo Melton. And the tight end, Luke Musgrave, Zach Ertz, Mike Gesicki. So you are correct. A little thin. Oh, you're thin. Yeah. I'm a little thin at tight end. But I think this could work. This could work for drafters, I would say in particular. It's kind of build, maybe need a little bit less wide receiver capital, but I think we balanced it decently. I don't know. Feel okay about that team. Let's hit another one, guys. Want to play along with me? Get in there now. Drafters Million. Let's go to the normal screen here. See how many spots we have. 11. Wow. Okay. Oh, this is your chance, guys. You want a real friend and family draft. Now you got it. See how fast you can fill this one. Can we set a drafter's land speed record for filling a draft? You tell me. But of course, I don't need to entertain you while I'm waiting for a draft to fill. So I'll just entertain you by playing ball. Woo! Oh, one-handers. You guys might not even actually, you didn't even notice this, I bet. 3 spots left. I'm wearing my high school championship shirt. How many champions are you seeing drafting best ball? In real football, this guy, special teams ace, should have played more, but the coach was mean to me because at that point I was particularly beautiful. He thought I was a pretty boy, and he would call me pretty boy. It's unfortunate because I have the hands of a lion. That's not good. I have the hands of something made of glue. Glue man. Is that a villain somewhere? Got to grind some MLB DFS for DK Miller tickets, or I would. Well, hey, chunk the deuce. I know something that would help you a lot. Go check out Stochastic. Go get some DFS tools in your life. Have a good splash on there. Have no fear. The Stochastic promo is going to be coming hot and heavy on stream once we get into the NFL DFS season. We're in the 2-hole here. Let's see. We got our guy Dylan in the 1 hole, me, our guy Ivan in the 3 hole, Mr. Poopy Butthole in the 4 hole. I don't know this guy. If you're in the room, let me know. Our guy Jason here, who'd have thunk it at the 12 hole. But especially if you deposited on draft using my promo code, let me know here. Give you a shout out. Which one are you rocking, PE? If I had to guess, I don't know. I don't know which one you'd be rocking, PE. Oh, Toy Sniper. Oh, no. Well, the good news, Toy Sniper's on the opposite side of the board for me, so that must be good. There you go, rocking PE. Welcome aboard here. And again, on Drafters, overlay coming. Right now, we have how many entries in Drafters Million? Just so I can give you guys an honest take on it. We got 76,829 divided by 186,672. 41% fill on Drafters. So it's increased about 2% this weekend. Again, if I had to guess, I think 75% was the right guess. So 75% filled would mean 400K in overlay coming in. Not looking bad for Drafters. Mr. Poopy Buttholes, 25th draft means you get a free ticket. That's true. Nice job. And Adam at the 5. I know that. Of course, I know you're at the 9 hole, Jason. I know that. Mr. Poopy Butthole himself is hilarious. Great username, and he lives up to the gimmick. He drops ooh-ees and chats. He's doing exactly what I want out of my Mr. Poopy Buttholes. McCaffrey at the 102. I feel like I've not done Hero RB as often on Drafters lately. Today's the day. Christian McCaffrey, come on down. We'll see what we get. A room full of regulars. Cuz make it a little bit harrowing potentially to go Hero RB. We'll do the best we can. If you guys are joining live, by the way, if you want to go back to the beginning of the video and you want to catch up on all the news from the preseason games yesterday, do that. I'm sure some of it I'll talk about as we go through again. I did go game by game using Nathan Yankee's PFF article. So check that out if you want to go back. If you're joining right now, skim to the beginning and just listen to the first half hour, basically. It's all me talking about preseason stuff. All right. Oh, man. Feeling good about these teams, though. I got to tell you, the 3 teams I built yesterday, the third one I built was the hardest on BBM, which I think is interesting to note because I ended up in a room with like all badges after that. So I had soft room, and then one room where it's like, fuck, this is actually kind of difficult. And weirdly, I still got pretty good values in the badge room, too. They weren't bad drafters or anything, but they were a little more value, I guess, less value-minded than badge drafters usually are. But I enjoyed those drafts, man. I have to say, like, I enjoy doing drafts no matter what time of day. But stream drafts, like, it's hit or miss. Sometimes I get you guys in there taking good players, making it hard to get value. Sometimes I get idiots sniping. That was really good. I built some really fucking good teams yesterday. I was really happy with it. Am I an RB Piggy taking one RB? I think Christian McCaffrey I'm allowed to take, but I'll play the GIF. I'm an RB. Oh no, Christian McCaffrey. I can't imagine a world where he doesn't repeat what he did after having a calf strain all preseason and also being a year older. But hey, look, whatever. The pick's the pick. I don't know how you don't take Christian McCaffrey some amount. If I had to choose, would I sacrifice 30 of my BBMs for 15 Chow Chows? BBM structure is still the best structure in the business, according to the EV grinders. So I probably wouldn't know. I'm team major tournament over everything in best ball personally, unless there's one with like really good structure that I'm not aware of. But all the data guys that I follow, I feel like I've said BBM, the Drafters Million, the DK Million Maker, the flagship tournaments are all the best EV for you in terms of your potential ROI. Addison at 108. Wow. Yeah. There's the guy Drew Davenport has really dug his heels on there potentially not being a suspension for Addison or Rashee Rice this year, which I think that guy's been right more often than not about legal stuff. Forget his handle. It's like Drew Davenport legal something. I'll pull it up here because he is worth following if you are a Twitter legal NFL concerned person. Drew Davenport FF, it looks like, is the username. I'll drop it in. Wait, is this the right guy? Yes, this is the right guy. It really likes auctions, I guess, is the thing for him. But this is the guy on Twitter, Drew Davenport FF. If you want to follow your Rashee Rice and your Jordan Addison updates, he's been a good source for them all. Also, again, I didn't finish the beer in the first draft, so that means I have to chug this by my own rules and nobody else's. So, hey, cheers. Chugging beers at 11:54 a.m. Every weekend's a bachelor party here doing drafters. That was more than half. Ooh. Gonna get buzzy in the second half of this draft, guys. 9.5% beers, chugging them, feeling great. Yesterday, I like by the end of the day, I was like fucking done. I did not time my beer selection well. Do we just have all the fun in the world? Do we have all the fun in the world, non-drafters? I think we do. CMC A-Chan, let's rock. Let's get some beer ASMR. Let's fucking be an RB piggy. Let's go. This is not the weekend, though, to go CMC A-Chan at that pick, if I had to guess. Might have been able to take a wide receiver and push A-Chan back around. I'm not sure how guy Dylan would have handled it. All right, we got to take a receiver here, right? Do I just see if I can get myself into deep water and dig out? Because I do love A-Chan. I do love Kyron. Analytic, those guys with 2 best RBs. Besides CMC for me last year. I got burps. I'm doing great. Fuck it. 3 RB start here. Now we're done at RB. we are out of the RB game. Maybe one more coming on. 3 RB start. Do it. Feeding the RB piggy. All right. Now I deserve it. Oh, here. You know what? Fucking here. I should even fucking... Oh, I'm a little RB piggy. Look at... Do I have any boogers? No. Oh, oink, oink, oink. I can't imagine a world where I don't have 3 RBs. But this is fun, right? I got to do it once. If you're going to get away from it, Drafters is the one to do it from. I got to say, Steven, functionally, data-wise, this is actually not a good start. This is one that could be really difficult, but you get a little more grace on Drafters. It's a PPR site. We just got to find some, as we talk about here, we got to find some PPR sluts. We got to find those guys that are just better in PPR. The guys are going to give it up better in PPR, going to maybe have less touchdowns, but give me 8 for 80 kind of days. That's what we got to do. 2 week 6 RB. Whatever. Who cares? I don't have to get another. I can take a 0 1 week RB. You thought you were able to push one of them. Sorry, Ivan. You're not pushing RBs around me. I'm the scooper-upper of RBs. I'm like that machine in arcades where like the coins move. Maybe a very esoteric one. But that's me in RBs. I'm just like, ooh, come on, bring them all to me. I'm going bright green to start here. Nobody else had the gumption to go 3 straight RBs besides this guy right here. But that's the thing. When you draft enough teams and when you have that confidence in your player knowledge, you can draft 3 RBs and try to dig out of it. I think if you're just coming in and you're like, oh, it's easy to get wide receivers. Like, it's not easy, but we can do it. That's true. Steven may not know this is full PPR. That does change things a little bit. Though these are some good PPR backs. Honestly, it wouldn't shock me. Winning BBM would be tough. Wouldn't shock me if a CMC A-Chan or CMC Kyron was able to do damage on drafters. Just because of the total points, the PPR there. Especially CMC Kyron, because you get the wide receiver in the middle. Let's say you get CMC and Kyron and Devontae Adams in between. I think that team could make some noise. Just got to like prop up your receiver projections a little bit more. It's a chat saying here. Mr. Poopy Butthole smelling bacon here. Wide receiver avalanche. Here we go. Hey, you know what? You guys need RBs at some point. I'll tell you what. We're doing an RB heavy start in a room of friends and family. Might be tough for me. Dare to dream, though. Dare to dream. Who'd have thunk it could not get the Puka Marvin Harrison combo? Hate to see it. I get it all the time now. Team Puka at MHJ. Going to be loaded on him in the back half. Let's see, what are we going to have to build around at receiver? So normally the way I would say to try to build out at receiver when you are starting RB heavy would be trying to get full stacks that combined can bubble up. I did one hero wide receiver build on BBM that stood out to me in hindsight. And I think actually might have decent CLV on it now. I had taken Drake London as my only receiver, hit a bunch of RBs like elite tight end, Josh Allen. Basically what I did was I built out backdoor Buffalo. That might have been backdoor Washington too. No, because I don't know. I think I might have done both of those. But basically I just tried to make it so I had late stacks coming with it. I thought it flowed pretty well in terms of draft capital allotment. But we'll see what we're getting back here. McLaurin goes at 44 in this room, so we will not be able to pull some Jaden shit. The room is trying to punish me. But room, you have to know, you can't punish a madman. Sam Laporta at 47, fine. Take all the receivers, guys. We're going to see what happens in the 20-round draft if I just keep fucking loading up at receiver later on. So 4 rounds here, no receivers. Got to go tight end and QB. All right, well, we did half of that. We did half of it already. We are watering green. Mahomes and Xavier Worthy. I don't think Worthy's got enough upside to prop up a room in full point PPR, to be honest. I would rather take Laporta there. I'd rather have potentially tight end 1 than mid receiver. Keenan Allen would have been a good PPR slut to get in the mix to help it out. Lamar for this kind of team would work. Chris Godwin, a quintessential kind of PPR slut we'd be looking for. But again, late stacks, Calvin Ridley, late stack. That's what we're going to do here. Calvin Ridley, come on down. Wide receiver 1, Calvin Ridley, a title he may never claim in his life. Again, technically, I'm sure if Hopkins is out, he'll be wide receiver 1. Watching behind, but I was on your ass about Dameon Pierce / Singletary last year. Had about 30% on drafters. Own that victory lap, sir. Own it. Thank you, Cody. I appreciate that. Honestly, very nice of you to say, because a lot of people who get shit wrong don't come back and tell me about how right I was. But yeah, Dameon Pierce was one of the landmines I'd avoided. Then I got the good players and hurt them. So that's those are the landmines I didn't avoid. But thank you, Cody. Glad to know that wasn't a fever dream of mine. But that stream, though, if you go back and watch one Spag Stacks or one stream I did last year, that one is one where like I got buried about people going, you can't draft the Texans without Dameon Pierce. I think that team might have been a Nico Stroud tank team as well. So not only did I draft the right Texans, but I avoided the landmine Texan and took Singletary with him, I think, instead. That was a tour de force for me. That was I'll always look fondly upon my summer of fading Dameon Pierce well. I think that was it. I had a lot of Stroud last year. Team Stroud. Not enough Nico, though. Thought I was about to get 5th round Laporta. Nope. I don't fear the avalanche on drafters. We can always find some little PPR boys later on. They're not going to have 30-point ceilings, but we're going to find some PPR boys. Now you guys all need other positions. And this guy's going to scoop up all the receiver value. Ha, 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 ha. This is how I win, to quote the movie where the guy gets shot in the face at the end for gambling poorly. Oh, man. Love best ball, though, guys. I'm in fucking, I guess it's not midseason mode because we're almost done, but I'm in Super Bowl mode for myself right now, I feel like, in terms of my player takes, my analysis, my throwing and catching a football one-handed. Ooh. Can I do it lefty? Oh, I can. Who needs a jugs machine with throws like this? You're all taking 10. Don't take 10 wide receivers. Go, all of you go elite, go fucking extreme zero RB, and let me just pick them all off after that. Pick them off like a chimp taking lice off of their toddler chimp. That's me. It's me grabbing wide receivers in all these rounds coming up. Unless I get a value at RB, then I can't help myself. Whee! I enjoy having a football near me too much. I don't let Luca take the football out of this room for that reason. He always wants to take the brown football. I'm like, fuck you, dude. You got 4 footballs. Use one of those fucking footballs. We have legit. He has a pool football. He's got a soft football. He's got a Nerf football. And he's got like an Xfinity football that's like a real football. He's got enough footballs, and this little fucker wants to take my football. Little only child. I'm an only child too, so I could say that. Classic only child. Can't take daddy's on-content football. I have to hold it so I look serious and professional. She is a jugs machine. She is a jugs machine. Was more of a jugs machine when she had that sweet, sweet milk going. But we don't like that. Probably before the end of the summer, we'll get Luca doing a cameo. I've not put Luca on stream for a while. I mean, I haven't had Luca on stream even when he was a baby. So now he actually can theoretically create content of his own. We got falling AR here at 71. I think I'd be a fool to pass that up. This room isn't going to fucking bitch me out. Kidding me? AR at 71? With these RBs? This team's going to pop, baby. This team's going to pop. I'm not scared. I'm never scared. Me and Bone Crusher. All right. Keon Coleman coming all the way back. Another RB would make us for sure done. I kind of want to like keep trying to punish the room at RB, which I don't think is the way to do this. I'll go Keon Coleman. My brain though is like, take Rashad White, take another big RB value and just see what these fuckers have to do. But that's not the right way to draft. We have to get some receiver capital in, especially with this AR pick. So we got AR, we have Christian McCaffrey, we got Devon Achane, we got Kyron Williams, we got Calvin Ridley, Keon Coleman as our receivers. A little bit of weak as a 1-2 receiver punch for sure. Sam Laporta though, feeling great. I'm loving this team. I'm having fun. I got a little bit of a buzz going. I haven't eaten anything yet today. Crush it. Whoa, that was close. No drops on stream yet, boys. Tell you what. Anyway, guys, if you enjoy me bending gravity and physics, both with football and my team construction, please subscribe down below, hit that like button, leave a comment. Your support goes a long way for me, a sole proprietor here, just trying to make it work, showing my gambling here on stream every day. If you really want to support the show and yourself, best thing you can do right now, and legit, if you enjoy basketball, the best thing you can do, go draft on Drafters. Drafters.com, promo code SPLASH gets you a $100 deposit match. Again, last year I put in 9 entries, and you can see my aptitude here. I don't fucking take this that seriously, even though I like to believe I know what I'm talking about better than most. I try to have fun doing this, and I still finished top 110 with 9 entries. So I think for you guys out there, sky's the limit. If you draft good structure, you know full point PPR well enough, that's all you got to do. Play on Drafters.com. Damn it. Play on Drafters.com. Promo code SPLASH. $100 deposit match. And it does support the show, and I'll give you a shout out at some point on stream if you do use that promo code as well. Been doing it on the regs. If you use the promo code while I'm on stream right now, I'll give you a shout out. I'll talk dirty to you if you use the promo code on stream right now. I'll make that promise, actually. So let's see. Pull up my account here. I can see when you guys deposit. I don't know if it's real time, though. But if you deposit on stream and I see it in my account history, I will literally talk dirty to you at the end of the stream. If you deposit at drafters.com and use promo code SPLASH. Why not? This is a high testosterone draft. I agree. Me and Evan Silva out there. We're establishing it. Oh, dropping a loose deuce in honor of my start. Thank you. Thank you. Nothing better than the Sunday beer shits / didn't eat well shits. Doing great. Queue up Slayton. We're not going to need Slayton in this team. We're going to get our receivers in like the shitty receiver rounds. We're going to get some Romeo Dobbs. No, Romeo Dobbs went. We're going to get, I shouldn't even have these other positions on the board. There's things we could do. That I wouldn't feel bad about. No, I'm not ruling out all the value. Why would you want that, Spags? Try to draft good teams, not just like, if you think I could get you off on a public YouTube stream, I'd be impressed by myself. Yeah. Jordan Addison falling here. Big time value. But you know who's not going to take Jordan Addison? Probably not Kitten. Kitten's in a tough fucking spot, man. I'm just going to scoop Jordan Addison because I don't think Kitten can take Jake Ferguson and Brock Bowers, and both would be nice values. We're just scooping value, though. There's a point where Jordan Addison was priced in the 60s, guys. We're getting him in the 90s. He does say, oh, Ferguson and Dak. Wow, that's fun. That's fun by our guy Dylan. Good for him. Fun stuff. All right, need another receiver here. And we got the Tennessee double. Fuck yeah. Let's take some injury discounts. Let's go. This is how you dig out. This is how you dig out of a shitty RB or a shitty wide receiver situation. Addison and Hopkins, this is like would have been a fucking normal team in a month ago. So let's give this team a read here. We got AR. We got McCaffrey. We got Achane. We got Kyron Williams. We have potentially the RB1, RB2, RB3 is how I feel about it. We got Calvin Ridley, Keon Coleman, Jordan Addison, DeAndre Hopkins, and tight end 1, Sam Laporta, along with QB1 AR. Wow, did we just win drafters? Did I just outgame a room full of sharp drafters who I've been training this entire year, who've been hearing my takes and have gotten sharper by proxy this entire year? They were already sharp. I'm not taking credit for it. But I just beat this room. I just dicked this room around. Ooh, I've been Lord, this whole drafters thing, this whole me doing an ad, a quote unquote sponsored campaign for drafters. This has been a ruse for me to draft Christian McCaffrey, H. and Kyron in one team and just fuck you all. You're going to deposit on drafters and you're done. You're done. You can't win. You got to go high TP. To be clear, this isn't, if I'm going to be like for real for a moment here, McCaffrey, H. and Kyron are all PPR RBs. Like these are guys that could give me 50 points in scoring. So high T, like you're going like Gus Edwards, you're going David Montgomery or whatever. That's like the bad PPR high T. This PPR high T is fucking dope. This is a fun one. This is a fun one. I'm enjoying this. Ramses or Ramses? Which are, I don't know what we're trying to say here. The champ. I mean, it's crazy that I won drafters here live on stream. It's going to be really fucked up when I win drafters and BBM and the DK Million 1 year with only putting in like 5 entries in the DK Million, maybe 10. Gonna be funny. Gonna be a real great bit. I sweep them. How is RB still a discount here? Like, how is that possible? All these fuckers, these little wide receiver piggies, they all loaded up on wide receivers early. Why is Brian Robinson still available 10 picks after ADP? What is going on in this room? What are you guys doing? That's not what a thing that Lucas says a lot. He'll say, "What are you doing? What are you?" That's how I feel. What are you doing? What are you all trying to accomplish here? You got beat at RB. You got stomped at wide receiver now. Kill the QB. Kill the tight end. Thank you, Mr. Movie Butthole. For anyone not watching his stream, the Spags guy is celebrating how bad he's fucking our butts in these draft. Lube up. Ooh-wee. Finish that with an ooh-wee, Mr. Movie Butthole. Keep the character going. Sweep the leg. Oof. Cobra Kai's in town here. I didn't watch much Cobra Kai, but I do root the fucking crazy that show's gotten like 7 seasons. Shout out Cobra Kai. You guys need some RBs is what you need. Never me. Imagine this guy worrying about getting RBs late. Pff, can't relate. You give this guy 1 beer. I'm an easy date. Give me 1 beer and an empty stomach and I'm fucking playing loose. Toy Sniper in the 11 hole, trying to play a balanced draft. Hope it works out for you. I did want that Brandon Cooks value for Mr. Hoopy Butthole, but he would not allow it back. Tyler Lockett, still a guy, still a dude. Got to make it up. I think Tyler Lockett helps us make it up. 5 receivers through 10 rounds. Killing it. Crazy that this used to be like the metric to hit receivers, and it's like, oh, you get 5 through 10 rounds, you're good. I get 5 through 10. I feel like this team is like the most dog shit receiver team I've ever had. All right, we got Gabe, Judy, Dotson, who I've got enough of. I think Gabe's the pick here. We got a Tennessee bet. Week 17 doesn't matter, but it can help. Flat tier. We'll go Gabe. 6 receivers. We made it up. We fucking made it up. We got AR, Christian McCaffrey, Devon Achane, Kyron Williams here. We got Calvin Ridley, Keon Coleman, Jordan Addison, DeAndre Hopkins, Tyler Lockett, and Gabe Davis. If we were to go like in the past couple years, this team ADP-wise would make total sense. Granted, a lot of them are a little bit older than we'd like to see, but there's a point where Gabe Davis is a top 50 pick. Hopkins is a top 50 pick. Lockett was a top 50 pick. Addison was top 60 this year. Coleman was at one point top 60, then came down. Ridley's been top 30. We're okay. We're okay. We did mix in a rookie. We'll mix in some rookies. We'll be okay. We're fine. Cobra Kai show's terrible. People love it, though. People love it. I am. No Vaseline. To quote the famous hip-hop beef, no Vaseline. Does your wife watch these streams? If she does, would she like you more or less, you think? She stopped watching, I think it was last year, maybe 2 years ago. She stopped watching when somebody, I think it was Mathology, at some point sent in Matt Corral's girlfriend, who was like the biggest titted, biggest assed girl in the world. And like I pulled her up on stream because that was, you know, like I don't ever want to be rude to one of our regulars like Mathology, but he pulled up whatever the Matt Corral's hot girlfriend was, sent it to me, and I like pulled it up on screen. My wife was like, I don't want to watch you like objectifying these women. I'm like, that's like less than 1% of what the stream is. But ever since then, no, I don't believe she's watched a moment. So I have impunity, which is all I ever want in content. Fun fact about my wife, though, after I left Barstool, I had a personal podcast called the Untitled Chris Spags podcast. I did for like a year. I want to say maybe a little less than that, but I didn't do it right. If I could do it again, I would do it differently, kind of thing. But did it for a year basically, and that was at a point where we were like seeing each other and broken up, and I just basically like bashed her on a podcast one day because she annoyed the shit out of me. So that was our first introduction to my content, besides having read me at Barstool back when she was in like college or whatever. But yeah, that's story of our love. But I think in most content, I don't think you want your wife to watch your content. I think you want to be able to be free and unencumbered to bash her lightly, in a way. Like, I would never talk that ill of my wife. Even if we were going through real shit, I would never like throw her under the bus on stream. But that said, you want impunity just to be able to talk about shit candidly. And that's hopefully what makes me for good content. You got 110 motherfuckers watching on a Sunday. So I think I'm doing okay. Shouts to all you guys hanging out. I know it's August, but appreciate all you guys being here. I do the grind here every day. New drafts every Monday to Sunday, every day here on stream. So please subscribe down below, hit that like button, leave a comment, and I'll keep it real with you. I'll have some beers. I'll throw some footballs around on the weekends, especially. Ooh, weekends get loose. Yeah, the Tinder roundup. I am the KY digging deep. Tinder roundup is not wife friendly, though. I was doing it in a period while we were dating, and she didn't like that I still had a Tinder account. It's like, dude, I'm telling you, man, it's just for work because I'm not getting enough screenshots in these days because it was like a private email and a Patreon. But yeah, KY digging deep. But Tinder roundup was always an issue for every girl I dated. But I was like, this is the thing I'm known for on the internet. But I'm glad I stopped it when I did, though, because got to a point where all the girls hitting me up with like, I was getting screenshots from women trying to promote their own like OnlyFans or their own following on Instagram or whatever. That was weird. It was getting weird with there. I was getting 500 DMs a week for the Tinder roundup when I was at Barstool. That was a lot of fucking shit. A lot more work than you would think. But it was getting like 150, 200,000 page views a week from people reading it. It's one of the most popular things on the internet that I get no credit for. Single tier. But I'm the KY nose. That's all I can ask. All right, on the clock here. We've made it up at receiver to the point where I don't think we need to reach for anything. We have one QB who makes sense for us later. I think at this point, let's just keep fucking these guys in the butt and let's get TJ Hockenson in here. I know Laporte is going to carry me through this entire time, so I'll add Hockenson on top. 2 elite tight ends. Let's kill it. Give the team a read after this pick. All right, so J.K. Dobbins get me through week 6. I think he does. I think he's a better pick than it might seem. Receiver at this point, like it, Josh Downs. Josh Downs coming all the way back. Maybe. Go Dobbins here. 4th RB in. We're now clear of the week 6 bye issues. We've got AR, Christian McCaffrey, Devon Achane, Kyron Williams, J.K. Dobbins, Calvin Ridley, Keon Coleman, Jordan Addison, DeAndre Hopkins, Tyler Lockett, Gabe Davis, Sam Laporta, and TJ Hockenson here. So the team's feeling pretty good. I think one thing that would have changed my approach is if A.D. Mitchell had fallen all the way back. I would have taken A.D. with 1 pick, probably Hockenson with the 2nd pick, would have then pushed RB later and probably added volume on at RB. With taking J.K. Dobbins, I think this is probably a 4, maybe max 5 RB build. But the 5th RB's got to be somebody late who I think has points in week 5 or week 6 rather. So could be a tough needle to thread. Unique team though here on Drafters. I'll tell you what. I'm excited to see how this team does. Team number 22 for me on Drafters. I didn't update the banner. I got to do that. It's a stream draft number 178 for me on the year. So 200 stream drafts is going to happen this year, guys. We're going to hit that goal. And Drafters Million number 23 is where we are for me on the year. AR Levis Darnold team. I think AR and Levis. I don't think we need Darnold on that, to be honest. I got to say Darnold now because he's starting. He's now come up to a point that I don't know. I don't know where I'm going to rank him. I think he should go in the back half of like the Bryce Young Carr tier. but he's priced in the 16th round for some people. I've seen Darnold go in the 13th in a draft I did yesterday in BBM. I don't know where I'm going to price Darnold in ranks this week. Because, like, I don't think you should go out of your way to get him, but I think he should be live as a bailout if you have Jefferson and Addison. But people reach for him. I had in one of the BBMs I did yesterday, I had Jefferson and Hawkinson, and I thought I was okay to get through. And like the next pick, somebody took Darnold unstacked, which is also these drafts now. People take fucking Jared Goff unstacked. August drafting has become a nightmare. Laporta / Hawkinson does feel like a combo that could break fantasy if Hawkinson comes back even a little bit early. Honestly, if he's there week 8, I'm fine with it. But yeah, if he comes back like week 5 after the pup list, great. Would certainly be better. Got a few more picks here, 6 more than giveaway at the end, guys. So if you are coming here for the giveaway of 2 $15 Drafters Million tickets, you got to hang on till the end because I'm doing it in the last round. And I don't know what the hashtag is going to be. Maybe hashtag RB Piggy. We'll see. While Darnold went at 135 in a DK draft. Again, I saw him go into 13th round yesterday, so it's not too surprising, but that's... I believe in Darnold. He shouldn't go earlier than the 17th, 18th. He needs to just be in that tier of, like, all these guys. Like, he's not their future QB no matter what, so they're going to have a quick hook for him. If the team is just competitive enough, but it's not him driving it, you could also see him easily get pulled for Nick Mullins, who we know they trust in like a ripcord kind of situation. All right, pick coming up here. Kamani Vidal still here. Will Levis is here. We're gonna push Will Levis around just because I know Dylan's not gonna take him. 5th RB could make sense. Another receiver could make sense. Who's got the best role out of all these guys? It's probably Jalen McMillan, right? All right, McMillan, come on down. Guy who's got theoretically late round upside. Theoretically can do more. Then Dylan will hopefully take 2 players who are not Will Levis. He's a smart drafter. He's not going to do that. I agree. Darnold does belong by Young and Jones. And Will Levis here, double stacks. So we've got our Tennessee double. We got AR with it. So this is the goal here. We took 2 receivers, a little bit cheaper with Ridley and Hopkins, but we're hoping this entire stack bubbles up, and it's not the RBs. So we would theoretically be kind of hurting those teams, the 0 RB teams who took Pollard, took Tyjae Spears. We'd be hurting them a little bit if this hits as well. But it's an AR Will Levis QB room. We have McCaffrey, Achane, Kyron. So 3 RBs in the first 3 rounds. Had to build a weird team because of that. J.K. Dobbins is RB4. We have Calvin Ridley, Keon Coleman, Jordan Addison, DeAndre Hopkins, Tyler Lockett, Gabe Davis, and Jalen McMillan. And a tight end, Sam Laporta and TJ Hawkinson. Feeling good about this. Am I worried at the ship chasing curse? They are alarmingly bad at picking receivers for their clips. I will give them that. I think it was funny the way they did it. I'm not a big McMillan guy. I think that McMillan, to me, just kind of blocked. I've said it before on stream. I think if you're taking McMillan, you really need to not be taking one of Evans, one of Godwin, because those guys basically have to get hurt for McMillan to hit a true ceiling. Your best case for McMillan right now is like Russell Gage, Trey Palmer, somewhere in the middle between those 2. And I don't think that's that good. I don't think he's better than Godwin or Evans. I could say that. I think, too, moving him out of his natural slot is, like, not great. But as wide receiver 7 in a room where we're, like, you know, a lot of vets, a lot of old guys, he's a good pick there. But I'm not the biggest McMillan guy, I have to say. I like McMillan more when he was linked to, like, every good AFC team pre-draft where you saw the Chiefs, you saw the Bengals, you saw the Bills. Him being the slot for any of those teams would have been really exciting. Him being the outside guy, which is not his natural position for Tampa Bay, and probably sharing it with Trey Palmer to some extent, I think is not great. But for wide receiver 7, he's okay. I'm sticking the landing and the rest of the room in the bum. Thank you. That was the goal here. We're trying to fuck some bums today. That's why I come on streams for double headers, and I'm like, time to fuck some bums, boys. Time to fuck some bums. Tad jealous of this team, and I'm now pissed I'll be wasting a few bullets down the stretch trying to replicate it. Hey, I think it's not a bad team. It just all comes down to knowing the pockets you have to hit to get some guys who are not awful. I think we got guys that are not awful. And in particular, Addison and Hopkins just make teams stronger. And Lockett to a lesser extent, because Lockett was priced at one point. You guys like maybe weren't drafting then. Some of you guys out there, he was going in the 90s at one point, and now he's down because he's a little bit hurt. He's old. The shiny new toy JSN is there. JSN should be, I think JSN and Lockett should be ranked like 1-to-1. Still like Lockett. Should this be the hashtag fuck some bums? Hashtag fuck some bums. I think it's going to be hashtag RB Piggy. Something like that's what I'm guessing. But you'll know the hashtag at the end of the video. That's a promise. 2 tickets being given away to the Drafters Million at the end. And if you do win one of the tickets, though, you guys know if I left a comment yesterday, I will submit them on Monday. Usually by end of the week, you'll get them. So keep that in mind if you do win the giveaway. And I will not give to somebody who's their third win. My new rule is you can win 2. I won't give you 3. So our guy, Pat Joyce, who won 2 yesterday, I was surprised given the odds. But great odds for Pat. Pat might win one of the tournaments this year because of how lucky he is. But this year, or this time rather, can't win 3, but you can win 2. So all you guys should be safe besides Pat. All right, we got receivers, tight ends, Quentin Johnston, Stinky. 5th RB could work. Late breakout guy could work. That guy could be Audric Estime. Though it doesn't solve the week 6 conundrum necessarily. Going to take one more RB here because I don't know what to do at receiver. And I don't want to do Quentin Johnston. And Tyler Boyd's okay, but not a priority. How do you enter the giveaway? I'll give you a hashtag at the end. You just have to put the hashtag in the chat, and we'll draw it automatically using the StreamYard giveaway tool. All right, Tyler Boyd comes back. He looks a lot better coming back. Triple for Tennessee here. So we've made it up at receiver now officially. We've gotten 8 receivers in. We have an AR, Will Levis build, Christian McCaffrey, Devon Achane, Kyron Williams, J.K. Dobbins, and Audric Estime, who doesn't necessarily help for the week 6 build, but does give us more late season upside, which we I guess maybe need with this team. We have Calvin Ridley, Keon Coleman, Jordan Addison, DeAndre Hopkins, Tyler Lockett, Gabe Davis, Jalen McMillan, Tyler Boyd. Gotten some median projection guys in here late. I think Boyd and Davis to me would be those kind of guys. McMillan, a late season breakout guy. And then Laporta and Hawkinson. I don't know, man. I think it seems good. I like to see him. Brendan Rice is okay. I just don't think the spot's right for him. Like I don't know. If Brendan Rice were running with the first team this whole time, I would have been a little bit happier about it. But I don't like the Chargers offense. Also, our guy Adam's not in chat, but like Ladd McConkey, low key, kind of dead. Like Ladd McConkey was only playing slot on 11 personnel snaps. So if Ladd McConkey can't play out wide, he's fucking done. And an offense not gonna have high pass volume. Ladd McConkey needs to be down, I don't know, 80s, 90s. Here he went 81. 81's okay. Probably would rather have Curtis Samuel over him. Would rather have Shakir over him. And Shakir, though, it's a little bit early here. I think Ladd should be 90s level, to be honest. But I've been biased against Ladd. But he I didn't talk about it with the PFF stuff, but like him playing only slot. That is a death now for Ladd. Palmer has always been the pick. Never understood Ladd over him. Ladd could be better than Palmer, but he doesn't have the trust. He's not as big-bodied. Palmer's shown it. I've never been a big Ladd guy. You guys know that. I was the most down on Ladd. I was most bearish on Ladd from day one. Then he had the great combine. I'm like, all right. And good camp reports. This is a really brave bet. I wouldn't be shocked if by week 17, Luke McCaffrey scores double the points of Ladd McConkey. In week 17, specifically. I wouldn't be shocked if a lot of guys after pick 100 double up Ladd McConkey when it matters the most. But I am anti-Ladd. You guys have seen it through my wars with our pal Adam. But yeah, Ladd. Oof. I'll take mine with the field on Ladd. At best. Normies like me assume Palmer's a million years old, but he's really year 4 to trust the target. That's true. That's true. And Robert Griffin III, you are not a normie at this point, but I appreciate the sentiment, even though you're definitely not a normie. Best stat I've heard in Palmer is from BBG. Palmer's yards per out run has gone up every year of his career. He just does both jobs well. That was the thing that always stood out to me with Palmer is like he can play Keon Coleman's role, or He can play Keenan Allen's role. He could play Mike Williams' role. Like whoever was out, he would just play their role, which is like an impressive skill to have. And again, having that rapport for a few years with Herbert, that stuff does matter, even though people don't think it does. All right, we've got 2 QBs here. Could certainly keep adding volume at receiver. Another tight end wouldn't be bad either, given that we do have likely missing some time for TJ Hawkinson. But we got a couple picks here, and Mr. Hoopy Butthole's really thinking about it. Full clock for Mr. Hoopy Butthole. Ooh-wee, Eric Gray. Ooh, you need a full clock to pick Eric Gray. Work up the gumption to click Eric Gray. Eric Gray, good preseason game yesterday for the Giants as well. But it wasn't as much of a breakout as that first one was. Probably not enough to put the Tyrone Tracy RB2 stuff to bed. Josh Palmer's the Rain Man of receiver playbooks. He does retain a lot. Gotta give him that. All right, Chig here, but we know that Dylan's not going to take Chig, so Chig will not be a pick for us either way at this one. Late upside at receiver. Troy Franklin is late upside. I am lower on Troy Franklin on drafters than I am on underdog. I'm going to go Troy here. I don't think I was at risk of Dylan taking Troy, but I will take a share of Troy Franklin on drafters. Poor Troy, down to the 18th round. What are we going to do? And this is what happens. Our guy Dylan didn't have enough RBs, and now where is he at? This is what happens when you don't take 3 RBs in the first 3 rounds. You get fucked. We got Shark, who's coming down because of the not playing with the first team yesterday, which might be bullshit. But Chig is the pick here. Chig's the pick. Let's give this team a read with 1 pick left in round 20. We have AR and Will Levis, CMC, Devon Achane, Kyron Williams, J.K. Dobbins, Audric Estime. At receiver, we have Calvin Ridley, Keon Coleman, Jordan Addison, DeAndre Hopkins, Tyler Lockett, Gabe Davis, Jalen McMillan, Tyler Boyd, and Troy Franklin. Oh, my God. The burps are killing me, guys. I'm sorry. Troy Franklin rounds out the receiver room here. We got volume at receiver. We got to 9. We're probably going to get to 10 here. And Laporta, Hawkinson, and Okonkwo is our tight end room. We're feeling okay about that. The team does leverage this. I think I did legit hurt the entire room with my early RB scooping because as a result, a few teams here didn't get the hero RB. They then have had to add more volume at other RBs. So by not panicking in the avalanche on drafters, I think I was able to build a pretty good team. That said, Calvin Ridley's my wide receiver 1. Keon Coleman's my wide receiver 2. There are flaws for sure, but I added enough volume and guys with real roles here. Like, the only guy who doesn't have a real role right now in my entire receiver core is Troy Franklin. Like, everybody else has a job. So I'm okay with the team. I think the team was a lot better than I thought it would have been. The only way it would have been better is like getting value receiver. That wasn't possible. Dylan's okay with this RB room. So Dylan's RB room after starving RB until round 10. He's got Gus as RB1, Rico, Chuba Hubbard, Tyler Algier. That's you make that work. That's like a traditional zero RB room. Pierce, Roshan, Shipley, Eli Mitchell is a little bit tough because that's 4 guys who might be zeros come week 17. But you did something. You did something different. Larry RBF made it in. I don't know which one you are, Larry. Are you a rabid Bucks fan? I guess it'd be Larry here. Shout out Larry for joining the draft for the first time. Appreciate it. Did great, buddies. Ooh-wee. Someone passed Spags a pork chop. Like, I love that you take the 5 seeds Mr. Hoopy Butthole is in and you get every bit of mileage out of them. Thank you. Your RB room is fine. Let's see Mr. Hoopy Butthole's RB room. His RB room, he got Saquon Hero. So he avoided me stealing everybody. You got Saquon Hero, Montgomery, Chase Brown, Chubb, Eric Gray. You're falling off the cliff after Chase Brown. I really think I hurt this room. I really do believe I heard this RB room, but I think your team is probably, you acquitted yourself well, Mr. Hoopy Butthole, with the hero RB build. I did directly hurt Dylan and the RB quality, though. So, all right. Take it. All right, Sammy here to show my love and support the Squirt Nation. Let's go Buffalo War Pigs. There you go, Sammy. Appreciate you being here. Rocket P's RB room is good, but you didn't get the big wide receiver value. So, like, your room, yeah, your RB room is good, but, like, you weren't with the Avalanche. So you kind of, you're more on my side of things for sure. But, like, you have Puka, Rasheed, Curtis Samuel. It's tough. It's a little bit tough, I would say, Rock and PE. But, you know, it's drafters. Look, anything can win, really. You get the nuts on your players, are going to be fine. I think you suffered a little more than you realized, though, if I had to say. You got Esme, you would have been happier. Sorry. Giveaway coming in a few picks here. Pull up the screen. Let me think about it. Actually, you know what? I'll give you the hashtag now. Hashtag Spags RB Pig will be the hashtag today. Keep it simple. We're collecting comments now. Hashtag Spags RB Pig if you want to win an entry. $15 entry fee to win or to enter the Drafters Million. No guarantee you'll win, but, you know, hey, maybe you'll win. And Alec Pierce, who people still don't draft in the 20th round. We got our AR correlation. So final team here. We got AR and Will Levis. Big discount on AR. Will Levis, slight discount. Christian McCaffrey, Devon Achane, and Kyron Williams. We went with the loaded RB start here. The tri-modal RB with J.K. Dobbs and Audric Estime. We got Calvin Ridley, Keon Coleman, Jordan Addison, DeAndre Hopkins, Tyler Lockett, Gabe Davis, Jalen McMillan, Tyler Boyd, Troy Franklin, and Alec Pierce. The fact that I have 9 guys who are starters and 1 guy who I still think has upside at some point in Troy Franklin, in a room where I did go with McCaffrey, Achane, and Kyron, I like this team a lot more than I should, even though, like, I'm lacking the game breaker receiver. I fully know that. Laporta, Hawkinson, Chig is the tight end room, so could have been good with, honestly, Laporta and just Hawkinson, but Chig, more correlation for Tennessee. We got that going. And now it's time to draft or to spin the wheel and make the deal here. We got 22 entries in. I'll give you guys another minute. Again, it's Spags RB Pig. I'll leave it on the screen. You can see it here. Move me back around or move me up here. There we go. Now I'm up top. Now I'm crushing it. I'll give you guys a minute to enter. I don't think anybody used the deposit code, so I don't have to talk dirty to anybody. Nobody used the deposit code on Drafters to talk dirty to them, but make sure you use that promo code on Drafters right now. Glad you didn't make me have to do that. But use promo code SPLASH on Drafters for a $100 deposit match. If you want to get entries for yourself in a Drafters Million, which again is a $15 entry fee, 500K to first place, full point PPR, no pods, no playoff pods, a lot of things that will reduce the luck component there. And we have 90 people who are watching the stream right now. If you're a lurker, doesn't matter. Just put in hashtag SpagsRBPig. You want to enter to win this one. I'm going to draw in a moment. I'll take a big sip of beer. When I finish the sip of beer, I'm going to draw. So guys, draw or put in SpagsRBPig as a hashtag. And then I'm going to draw. All right. You'll get one more entry in here. So if you haven't put the hashtag in, you can still do it. And yes, hit the thumbs up as well. And now here we go. Jim Gibbs. Jim, after the video ends, leave me a comment in the YouTube chat with your Drafters username. I'll submit them on Monday. But congratulations, Jim Gibbs. You win the first one here. And again, please leave me a comment with your username after the video so you can be entered to win, or you can get your ticket, basically. So I can submit your username to do that. Not in the chat, in the comments. And our last entry here is I ceremonially throw up the football. Catch it one more time. It's Trader Mike with an extra E. Trader Mikey. Please leave your username in the comments after this one. So 2 winners here. Please leave me your usernames when the video ends. That's what we got going here. And that's our Drafters weekend, guys. So 2 more weekends of doubleheaders coming up, including Labor Day weekend on Drafters. So stay tuned here. But please, if you are just, honestly, if you just love best ball and want to give your shot to win big money, last year I put in 9 entries, finished top 110. I know I say it a lot, but like it's the most important sales pitch I can give to you guys. This year, the tournament's going to overlay even more. We're talking about potentially 25%, maybe even more overlay at drafters. So do yourself a favor, get a deposit match, get the entries in, get your 10 entries, get one free. Like, just give yourself a chance to win the Drafters Million, because like there's going to be a lot of fucking empty spots, guys. We're talking like 50,000 empty spots. There's so many potential empty spots. So please, for yourself and for me, go to drafters.com, use promo code SPLASH for a $100 deposit match on there. The match is worth it. I agree. Hit the like button and subscribe as well. Do that. Of course, I do these streams every day. I'm doing a basketball stream, sometimes double headers. A lot of double headers on the home stretch. Tomorrow going against Pete. Probably a single header on BBM. We'll be doing that tomorrow. Basketball overlay tool. If you want data on your screen for underdog, use that basketball overlay promo code SPLASH at bestballoverlay.com. Get $10 off your first month. It means you're basically getting $20 for a month of all that data on your BBM drafts. You're the most important month. Thank you to all the fine folks who supported the channel today. You too can support down below by hitting the join button for $4.99. You'll get my rankings, which will be coming out tomorrow. Lots of updates tomorrow with over 300 flat player blurbs at this point. You also get my news update document, which is all the updates I've given on stream over the last month, basically, since training camp started. You also get a VIP Discord. You get 10 team reviews a month from me, which are a little bit slow right now because I'm just backlogged, and also it's fucking exhausting. but stay tuned. You're getting all that stuff if you hit that join button down below for $4.99. Gamble responsibly, but even though that, it's always money time. Follow me at Chris Spags. Follow the show at Splash Play Pod. Back tomorrow, getting my dick kicked in by Pete Overs. That's monster stream. It's been fun hanging out with you guys this weekend, fun doing some different stuff. And shout out to our 2 winners. Make sure to leave me a comment after this video with your username on Drafters. I'll see you guys tomorrow. So, hey, enjoy your days and enjoy the rest of your weekend. And, of course, good luck. Bye-bye.